Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, so Capricorn, we have the Chariot, which for me always makes so much sense since the Chariot is definitely a Cancer energy and Capricorn being at the opposite of Cancer, it makes sense. I always think of it as like a row, like a straight highway, right? Right through the center of the circle, the zodiacal circle. And this connects. But also there is a polarity there. And it really emphasizes the ability to really, really get into the work. Whatever the work is for you, whatever fixation, obsession, business, hobby, desire, whatever it is, you are so good at being just focused on that thing. You are probably somebody that, like, for instance, and we all know this, especially, if you're around my age, we all grew up with Nintendo and, TurboGrafx and, what's the other one? Sega, that kind of stuff, right? And even more so now with like the newer kind of video games and stuff. Just when you look at somebody who's really into the game, just absolutely out of reality, this physical world, they are in that game. You cannot talk to them, right? I feel like, and now maybe you are into video games, but I feel like whatever it is for you or whatever things in general that you're into, that you are able to get to this point. So you maybe have been called like a workaholic or, super obsessed with, like, I don't know, maybe you're into like role-playing D&D or something, or LARPing, I don't know. Fixing cars, working out, whatever it is. And you are just so into it. And so when I see this card come up for you, I'm like, okay, so you're in the zone. You are in the zone. And, sometimes that's a wonderful thing. That is what gives you the ability to really study, focus, learn something inside and out. But at the same time, I think that your relationships can suffer. Obviously, because you're not communicating or you're not there. You're always working. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. Maybe you are at home, but you are in whatever it is that you're doing and you're not necessarily always available to be there with everybody else. I don't know. Maybe I already knocked that. But here we go. We're going to lift this thing up. So I want to say thank you for being here with me. It's always such a pleasure to be able to bring these messages to you. Oh, yes. And what an energy to begin on. We have the snake goddess right here. Look at her. She's beautiful. She looks like one of these like Paleolithic goddesses. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at, this is the head. Here's the body, right? Arm up and holding a serpent. Now we also have a bird that's flying this way. Over here it looks like she's holding a fish, okay? So we have knowledge and resources. This is really intense sword energy. Having a mind that is sharp, that is knowing, that is really a refined skill with being able to use your mind. So what does that mean? You've trained yourself. I don't know if like maybe you went to, like 10 years of college, university, graduate school, whatever. Maybe you're super, super good at researching things. just learning in general. Maybe you're somebody that is more like a hands-on. You have, different trades. You are proficient in a lot of different areas within the career and skill set that you are focused on, whatever it might be. It is almost kind of extraordinary because you are really, one of your patrons here, at least for this reading, for this cycle, is one of great mental power, but also the ability to transmute, the ability to create. That is this mother energy. Now, it is obvious that you are good at making money. You are good at building things up, like a business, a side hustle, maybe even if you work for somebody else, whatever your career might be, you have climbed the ladder. You have, advanced yourself constantly, continued to put yourself in better and better positions. You're not somebody that just gets a little raise and you're like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna, rest on my laurels over here. No, you are driven. You have that fire because the mother is also the furnace, which is obviously fire and the wand energy, which is all about passion, creativity, the ability to bring life to something. So I do see this being a period of time where you are there's a solidification of this ability for a revenue stream, okay? Whatever it is, like you got the job or you got the raise, you have advanced in your department or, company or whatever, or maybe it is that you've been working on a business and you are starting to get some traction. It's all coming together, right? Now, up here, we have a guardian angel. Now, next to them, they have a bird that looks like a pelican or, some kind of water bird with a long beak. And over here, it looks like they have a plant. Okay, one hand a plant, one hand what did I call it? Pelican. So this tells me that you are also very focused on something like plant alchemy, plant medicine. You might be somebody that's like an herbalist or you're, interested in such. Maybe you do plant magic, plant alchemy. Maybe you make tinctures or, something. Maybe you are starting to realize at this point in your life you're needing to supplement or you're looking for some kind of alternative therapies or whatever it is, okay? I do feel like this is something that's going to be super important for you. Not just in the outcome, but I feel that within this particular part of your journey, you are going to find a deeper connection to these very kind of earthy intelligences. And that is through plants, that is through even like, they say you go out, you put your feet in the dirt, you put your hands in the dirt, you are communing with the biome, right? You are communing with all of these different kinds of beings that are all through every level of, cell and atom and everything else, right? And it comes together to comprise this thing. And then we put our hands into it and we are communing. We are communing. And that's why it feels like such a relief, not always, but most of the time, right? When you are like cooped up in your house and maybe everybody's arguing or it's really loud and your anxiety is rising and you're getting angry or you're getting sad or you're getting, feeling these rising anxieties. I mean, that's shaky or jumpy or, just not comfortable, unsafe, whatever it is. You go outside and you breathe. Now, part of it is that oftentimes when we go from inside to outside, the temperature will change. And that has a profound effect on us. Even if we don't always notice it, it really does change how our mind is working, our brain is working. That's why it's good when you're like really angry or upset to go and take a cooler shower. Or maybe when you're feeling kind of, melancholy or depressed, you go and take a warm shower. Now, it's not going to fix everything, but the temperature does change. And the other thing is the breathing, the intentional breathing that we do when we go outside to get a breath of fresh air, right? So, I feel that there is a sense of coming into your power. Coming into your power, being very focused on this. It's a mind-body, spiritual alignment that you're getting into. I feel that there's a sense of this power that you have really starting to manifest just absolutely brilliantly in your psyche, but also in the body. So I do feel a sense of wellness rising, change, moving. It feels like things are getting going again. The fire is burning bright. Now, let's see. We have a boat, okay, right here. You can see. Now, we have a person standing on it. They are looking towards, and we have people kind of on the shore here. And it looks like kind of this sad face. Somebody is leaving. I don't think it's you. Now, I wonder if this is maybe one of your children. Maybe they're moving. I do see there is somebody waiting for them. Okay, so I feel that this is kind of a little bit of a blow, a heartbreak. But maybe it's happy, maybe it's not. I don't know. But I do feel like you are grounded and this is meeting you at a point in your life where, yes, you do feel that real, pang of deep sadness. But at the same time, I feel like you are happy, you're excited for them. You are I feel like it's a sense of relief in some way. Almost kind of like you didn't expect this to happen, or maybe you had always hoped for it to happen, or and even if this is like a situation where somebody they're passing away. Now, I'm not saying you're happy about it, but there might be a sense of relief. Maybe they were in pain. Maybe they were struggling, with some kind of, like dementia or mental health stuff. And I don't, when we lose somebody, it's a very complex situation, right? We can both feel relief, like, if somebody has been struggling with a chronic disease or, something, like the C word, we won't say it or give it power here. But of course you don't want them to go, but you've been along for this whole thing, and you've seen how terrible it has become, and you only wish for peace for them, for pain to cease. And so we can in our rational mind know this and feel this, but then at the same time have a deep and great sorrow So I don't know that it is somebody that has passed away, but it does feel like there is a sense or a perception of separation. And but at the same time, I think that you have prepared yourself in some little way, right? And here's another thing. If you've ever lost anybody abruptly or over a period of time where you knew it was coming, it doesn't matter. You still hurt deeply when it happens. You can prepare all you like. There's no way to know how you're going to feel or what the process is going to be like. So I do feel like this separation is something that, it's affecting you deeply. But at the same time, I feel like you are embracing change in your life. And instead of letting it set you back, I think that you are looking for the silver lining here. Okay? Now, we also have down here, it looks like a satyr, or maybe even the green man. So we have eyes, nose, mouth, and then some kind of, it looks like antlers or horns. So this is a sense of rising passion, ecstasy, dancing, an ecstatic belovedness, excitement. If you could think of like the imagery of out in the woods late at night, and there's a huge bonfire and some clearing, and there are all these fairies and fae and satyrs and nymphs and so on. Satyrs being half human, half goat, like Pan, right? Having a wild bacchanalian party, just completely uninhibited. Maybe partaking in plant medicine, maybe partaking in drink, maybe, just in that belovedness of desire and amour and even agape that now we think of like the dervishes, right? The Sufis dancing and spinning in ecstasy, their belovedness with God, Allah, right? So I do feel, and now you might be thinking like, Lenore, you were just saying that somebody's leaving my life, or at least I'm perceiving them to. So, like my daughter's getting married and moving to the other side of the country. I am devastated. How could I possibly even fathom a bacchanalian ecstasy? Well, the funny thing about life is that sometimes when we're in those high highs or low lows, it will be matched with the other. So the pendulum swings both ways, right? You've gone deeply into a separation of some kind, and that is painful. But also the heart is opened up. You are vulnerable. You are cracked open. And you know what? That's where God gets in. Now I know that's kind of a silly saying, and I don't necessarily like that either. It sounds like, breaking and entering or something. But it is the light that's shining through. You're finding reasons to be happy, to be excited. You're choosing to listen to that more rational part of self. And you're letting it flow through you. Now, it might take time. I'm not saying this is something that you feel a pang of like grief and you're like, all right, that's enough, right? I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm going to just pretend until I feel better. I don't think that's what it is. Not at all. I feel like you will be pleasantly, gifted an experience of full immersion, pleasure of some kind. If it's spiritual, emotional, physical, maybe something you haven't done in a long time. Here's one. I swam so much my whole life growing up. And then when I was about 20, I just didn't prioritize swimming. I didn't swim for a few years at least. And then, even then, it was not very often. So when I had my daughter and I grew up swimming at a really young age. So I decided she's going to learn to swim from infancy, basically. And getting back into swimming, it's like it opened up a part of myself that I forgot about, that I loved. I loved the feeling of swimming and getting out and sitting in the sun and then getting back in. And, I don't care if it's the river, the lake, a swimming pool, whatever, the ocean. I love to be in the water. So, I found something that I know will almost always make me happy. Now, of course, sometimes, like if I'm kayaking and I don't want to fall in, and I do, that's not my favorite, but, it happens. But I feel you finding that thing. Now, it might be returning to you. It might be something completely new. But I see you coming into a space of feeling good. And I want to say this to you, and I mean this very seriously. When you have these moments where you do start kind of rising in your mood, your energy, please, when you feel that guilt, because we all do, it feels wrong almost to not be actively grieving all the time, or feeling upset like my best friend has moved away, my child has moved away. And we know they're okay, and we know that they're living their best life, hopefully, or figuring it out. That they're safe, hopefully, and, making good choices and all of that. But it still hurts. It hurts. And so I see you coming into a place where you're learning to deal with it, to process it. All right, here we go. So we have, it looks like, we have a heart. Again, a person dancing right here. And then I see we have the number 4. It looks like 44, actually. 2 styles of 4. And we have the mother energy again. So here's the deal. I feel like as you are in this kind of process of healing and feeling better about yourself, about life and all the things, there's kind of this feeling held by the mother energy, feeling this like holistic wholeness. And then there's just it's like the gaze of a very jealous person. It feels like a feminine energy. It feels like somebody, it could be like a sister-in-law, something like that. But I feel like this person, they are always just talking bad. They're, throwing dirt. They are just kind of like a vile person, right? Toxic. I don't like to call people toxic too much because, I don't know, in this day and age, everybody's considered toxic, I guess. But there's some people that just dude, I don't want to be around that energy at all. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's kind of it. I do feel that there's not going to be like a confrontation, but I do think that it becomes very apparent that they're not loving this evolution in you. So take that for what it is, right? Who cares? 60. Number 60. First lucky number. Second lucky number, number 18. We have number, down here, 18. Is it on there? Yeah, there we go. 18. All right, and number 37. Number 37. All right, and then we're going to end with the water blessing affirmation cards. And I'm just going to flip through, stop where it feels right. And we have, it looks like part of maybe like a fish or a mermaid. We've got water flowing. It says number 24, accept, support, allow a continuous flow of gratitude. Clear all fear with eagerness for what's next. Clear all fear with eagerness for what's next. Yeah, I like that. Let's stop lamenting the past, stop worrying about the right now or the future, and yeah, start looking forward to what's going to be next. Oh my gosh, the cat, she hasn't come down to meow at my door in so long. Here she goes. You guys haven't seen TT in forever, since I moved studios. So TT came to say hi. All right. So anyways, I want to say I love you, Capricorn, so much. Thank you for being here. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to send a prayer request, if you have somebody or yourself that you want prayer, my husband and I over at Dove, his name is Paul. He's from Dove and Serpent Tarot. He is wonderful. He is talented. And we pray together. It's one of our, I don't know, like one of the sacred things of our union is that we take the time to pray for others and pray together. And I don't know, maybe it sounds a little dorky, but I find it quite beloved and romantic. So if you do have a prayer request, we pray for both people at his channel and my channel and everybody together. I know there's a lot of crossover. But anyways, you can put that in the comments, or you can send it privately in an email to ulaishere@gmail.com. If you don't feel comfortable putting that in like a public space, that's fine. I feel you. Yeah, and other than that, I just want to say again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk soon, and good night.